Hi guys, Alena Shautsova, immigration attorney from New York is here. Welcome to my live. We are going to discuss the most recent immigration news. Recent changes from courts that may affect those who are in removal proceedings, actually some positive changes there. We're going to talk about what's happening with politics and immigration, Title 42. You may be aware that just on November 15th, a week ago, the district court ruled that Title 42 should not be used at the border. And now we'll have some developments. And of course, one more time, I'm going to remind those of you who are interested about the parole changes for Ukrainians and people from Afghanistan. Thank you very much for joining. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Say hello. Don't forget to like and share this stream so more people will be able to join us, and this will help to grow my channel. Again, my name is Alena Shautsova. I'm an immigration attorney from New York, but I help people in all 50 states and those who are overseas seeking immigration help. We deal with asylum, removal proceedings. We help with waivers, family immigration, I-130s, marriage fraud allegation, and so on and so forth. So if you need our help, please call us at 917-885-2261. Contact us via website, shautsova.com. We will be happy to help you guys. Very happy to help you guys. Thank you very much for joining. Hi, Venkat. Hi, David. Hi, Mir. Hi, Ivanka. Hi, Khalid. We have a good amount of people, so let's start. Well, first of all, as I promised you, we're going to talk about recent changes, positive changes actually, that relate to United for Ukraine program and parole for people from Afghanistan. You may be aware that due to various circumstances, the United States government is admitting people from these countries in parole status. However, while people from Afghanistan were almost immediately excused from filing fees for employment authorizations, Ukrainians were forced to pay the fees for the employment authorizations, and the policy stated that people who come on parole to the United States from these countries would not be able to work without authorization. But you also may be aware that it takes a very, very long time to get that authorization. And only yesterday, November 21st, USCIS finally admitted that those who are allowed to come to the United States on the special parole programs will be allowed to work without employment authorization for the first 90 days from the employment. However, they still have to file for those work permit papers. They will not have to pay fees any longer. And when the 90 days are up, they will have to present employment authorization. So I was thinking, why would they require the employment authorization filing, even if they admitted that you can work for the first 90 days without it? And I think it's a security concern, guys. I think it happens because when you file for the employment authorization, you will be fingerprinted. And it seems to me that this is exactly why this application is required. Also, when you file for your work permit for the first time, you also filing for the social security card. It's the same application nowadays. You do not have to go separately to the Social Security Administration to request employment authorization. So perhaps this is why. But that's overall, I think, very positive news. We have another interesting news that relates to immigration in general. That's Title 42. You may be aware that our immigration reform plans are stalled because Republicans always point out that we have an open border, right? Just recently, I made a short video and a post about this when Senator from New York, Charles Schumer, again started talking about immigration reform and specifically immigration reform for Dreamers. The Republicans immediately stated that we have an open border. Well, we don't really have an open border, but they would like to close that border completely like they did with Title 42. And I have to say here, to be fair, that Title 42 was used equally by Trump administration and then continued to be used by the Biden administration. Title 42 is the law that would allow to stop anyone from coming to the United States, pretty much anyone except for citizens, green card holders, even the asylum seekers would not be able to come to the United States if there is a health risk for the public, for the people of the United States. And that's exactly what was happening. They were using Title 42 to stop legal immigration, people who are seeking asylum, stating that, wait a second, we have COVID, we have pandemic, we have concerns. But even after the pandemic was over officially, Title 42 did not stop from being used. And not so long time ago, the Biden administration announced that it will be used against people from Venezuela. And guess what? A district judge ordered that Title 42 law to be no longer in use because basically it was obvious that the law was sort of used on discriminatory basis, right? So we were all very happy a week ago. But now, as you can see, 15 states asking the court, the same court that issued a decision saying Title 42 no more, even though the decision stayed for 5 weeks, for the law to get back, right? To be implemented back. So if that happens, there will be no real progress in the border situation, and we're going to see what's going to happen. Of course, it's all very frustrating because lives of real people depend on these political decisions, and especially asylum seekers, as we all know, are the most vulnerable out of all of the refugees and immigrants. And these are updates for the USCIS, if you will. There is one more news I wanted to share with you. On my website, I published a recent blog about a very important decision by Attorney General that states that the courts, immigration courts, have power to terminate proceedings, in certain situations, such as when someone has ability to seek relief before USCIS, maybe adjustment of status seekers, or perhaps somebody who is going for a TU visa and so on and so forth. Or if a person needs to travel overseas to receive a visa and removal proceedings, pending proceedings are in their way. This is going to be ideal for I-601A applicants, for example, and in some other situations. So this is a very important decision for those of you who are in immigration court or who may end up in immigration court. The decision comes because Board of Immigration Appeals, not so long time ago, denied a person the chance to seek relief before USCIS and close the proceedings, relying on old interpretations that occurred during the Trump administration, old interpretations of judicial power and what courts may and may not do. So now you know that there is a solid authority for the immigration judges to close, to terminate proceedings or dismiss them. And I hope your lawyer will know it too, and it will help you if you are one of those who are seeking to close the case. Let's say you don't want to deal with that case that you filed a long time ago, and now you have a new opportunity to fix your immigration status, and everything would have been fine with you, but you are in immigration court. So now it's a good chance to close that court, close those proceedings. And now, if you guys have some questions, I'll be absolutely happy to answer them. Hi, Farhana. Hi. Vankat from Orlando. Hi. David from Brooklyn. California, Texas, Far Rockaway. Yay! Far Rockaway is not too far from me. Much closer than California. All right, let's see. Hi, CD. Why is the I-45 based the grant asylum is taking so long? I filed since September 2020. I don't think it's taking too long compared to some other applications. Yes, it does take longer than, let's say, adjustment of status based on marriage. I have to say that it's also a relatively new trend. Maybe 7 to 5 years ago, adjustment of status based on green card, based on one asylum would not take that long. It would be a matter of maybe 6-7 months at most. But now there are very rigorous background checks, guys. And I believe it taking that long because the government is making sure that you did not commit fraud when you filed your asylum application, even though you won it. Especially it is true for those who won their asylum cases after the interview opposed to immigration court. So you can check processing times, and if you believe that your case is pending beyond processing times, I would advise you to use help of the local congressman. Very, very effective and free. Hi, True Wisdom. If you owe back taxes, does it affect your I-130 application? Are you the one who filed the I-130 application? Then it probably will. Why? Because there is a question like this, an affidavit of support. Have you filed taxes? What's going on with your taxes? However, for those of you guys who have payment plans on your taxes, then you should be all right. So all you need to do, okay, is to have the payment plan and stay on top of that plan and consult with an attorney with regard to affidavit of support. Okay, that's, I think, the only way it may affect someone. Hi, Michael. My very close friend got his passport taken away at the border while applying for asylum. He's from Russia. Would you advise him to go to a local USCIS office and try to get it back? Yes, Michael. You know what happens? That passport is not in the local USCIS office. It is with ICE. So what needs to happen is that he has to submit a special form for his original document to be returned to him. And this will be resolved with ICE if he goes for his order of supervision appointments, or he can also try to ask his lawyer for prosecutor's help in doing so, in retrieving the passport. Usually they will provide it unless there is a security concern. They can even give it back to you, but I would tell you in my practice what happens usually that if he has to have a copy of the passport for some reason, let's say he didn't even save for himself a copy, they will give it to him to copy, to use for whatever reason he needs, and would ask for it back, okay, if they took it. But he can try and request it. You may be aware that there was a scandal, right? Many migrants complained that their personal documents were taken away from them at the border, and CBP is now reviewing this practice, and hopefully they will stop doing it unless there is a serious security concern. Hi, Michael. Yes, since let me see, since those actions are considered the abuse of power now. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, they shouldn't be leaving people. You know, many people are very attached to their personal identification documents. It's probably the only thing that they have, right, with them. And when even those documents have been taken away, of course, it's very stressful. If they need to get a license, for example, in a state that doesn't require to have a legal status, you know, or if they have to verify their identity for other purposes, maybe to open a bank account. So it makes life definitely much, much more difficult. Hi, Bamba. All right. True wisdom. I have been out of the country for over 2 years. If you are a US citizen and you've been out of the country for over 2 years, you definitely should call a lawyer. Let me explain to you something. So when you are petitioning for someone, right, your family member, during the process, you have to show that they will not become a public charge in the United States. And you have to show that you can execute valid affidavit of support and prove your domicile. Proof to the United States government that you still reside in the United States. It's okay if you have a long-term work assignment sometimes, but a person who is outside of the United States and would like to enjoy the benefits, federal benefits, such as sponsoring a family member, the person must pay U.S. taxes. There is one provision when you actually can even lose your citizenship if you do not pay your taxes. All right, so consult with them. You have to. I'm sorry. Let me take it back. Not pay. File your taxes. There is a difference, right? Because when you file your taxes, it's not necessarily that you're going to have to pay something if you don't know anything. So consult with an attorney, tax lawyer first, okay? You want to have it squared out, and immigration lawyer as to prospects of the sponsorship of your family member. It's very, very important. Hi, David. Are there any updates for C8 cases filed in 2015 for Georgian citizens waiting for 7 years? All right, so C8 refers to a work authorization code for those who are waiting for asylum interview. Are there any updates for people who are waiting for asylum interview? Well, yes and no. I mean, from my experience, people who filed their cases in 2016 and even early 2017 are being called for the interview. So if that's not you, if you filed your case that long time ago and you still have not been called for the interview, maybe there was something that delayed your processing. Maybe you moved, changed your jurisdiction, maybe, but people who filed in 2015 should really be called already for the interview. Hi, Rajiv. Are individual hearing happening in person or through WebEx in New York, 290 Broadway? This is what I would tell you. From my experience, all those hearings are online, okay? But in a rare case where maybe some judges I'm not aware of would like your personal appearance, and of course, if you have a lawyer, it's 100% online usually. Just verify with the court. It's very easy. You call the court, right? You give them your A number, your LA number, and they will confirm for you how the judge would like to see you. But in my experience, the judges do not want you to come to court, all right? They would like you to appear remotely. That's my experience. All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching. As you may be aware, we have holidays coming up. So this live is really short one. I know it's much shorter than usual, but thank you very much for all of you who joined and asked your questions. I will try to answer all your questions that you submit in the comments. And if I miss it, please join the next time. For sure, next week. If everything is good, I'll be here again. And so hopefully will you. And if we do not meet before Thanksgiving, I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. I hope you will enjoy it. We'll spend time with your family, friends, your loved ones, or maybe even by yourself, if that's what you choose. And don't forget to check our website for the latest immigration updates. Like and share this video, and I hope to see you soon.